Hey, my name is Fletch. My YouTube channel is All Things Overlanding, and I drive a 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. Walk you around it here today.
We already have the stuff for ease.
Let's start here at the front, I guess. It's not actually all that modified.
Now, why did you add this? Are you going through a lot of puddles?
So I do a lot of like northern stuff, Michigan.
Okay.
So we do a lot of water crossings and stuff up there. I've been through some stuff that fouled out my axle seals, and like I've gotten stuck in some stuff. So I've been through enough that I figured it was just good peace of mind. And then I was in Wyoming last year for 2 weeks on the BDR.
Yeah.
Super dusty. So added benefit on those roads, it's better.
Okay. So my question is, this keeps water from going to your intake. How do you keep the electronics from frying out from the water?
Just try to stay out of the water for as long as possible. Yeah. I mean, again, it's more of that, if you just happen to hit that right level, I think the idea with water crossings is keep moving, right?
Yeah.
So like if you just happen to hit that right level though, and a glut of water goes into your intake, you're kind of in trouble.
Yeah.
So that just gives you that peace of mind. But no, my goal is get in it, go through it, and get out of it.
Can you show me how it's hooked up inside?
Sure. Yeah, a lot of it's in that inner fender, but it basically, you just cut a big old hole right there. The nice thing too is that with the top of the snorkel there, it's no drill. So this is actually a clip that you pull your seal down, and then this just clips around it, and then when you screw these into here, then it pulls it taut.
It's solid,
and it's solid. So you only have to drill this giant hole, and then it runs through this inner fender here, and then comes right out here and goes into their air box. So it's
is that sealed all the way up to the air box?
All the way, yeah.
And this is their air box too?
Their air box, yeah. Right now the Z1 only works with their cold air intake.
Okay.
They are working on, I've heard, a tube to connect to your stock air box, but it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit, just that for water crossings anyways. Obviously for dust it's still better.
Yeah.
So they'll sell some, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, otherwise under the hood.
Is this a 22 or 23?
23.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it looks very different than my motor.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like, what's yours? 22?
23.
23?
Yeah, it's just all stock though. So
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I've got some stuff off with the air intake and stuff. Some of these plastic pieces came off that were in there.
Yeah.
And then I've got this part pulled out too. There's a cover that goes over that, but
now how come you haven't done the winch thing yet?
Cost mainly. I just and I don't really love any of them. I like CBIs a lot.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
I like their bumper a lot, but I'm also Z1 claims to be working on one. They have that on that old show truck that's a full, with the wings out on the side.
Well, there's one that they came out with where you don't have to cut any of your fender, and that sounded a lot better to me.
Yeah.
I was just like,
yep.
Because have you done any of these trails out here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in this truck yet, but I had a second gen that was Titan swap before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went through all that. And yeah, there's some fun stuff out here.
Yeah. So it's like out here, it's like you really want to have a winch, or at least people with you. That for sure.
I've been very sad to not have a winch on this truck, but I just don't want to make the mistake, to your point, of like cutting it out for a covert and then going to something else later. So I'm really, I told Z1 when I was talking to them about this snorkel, I was like, when are you gonna do that bumper?
Yeah,
because they have one. They've made one.
Well, it's such a new platform, so I think we just got to wait for stuff.
Victory's got some decent options. I think Desert Runner Off-Road, they have a full-fledged bumper that you have to cut for.
Yeah.
But I just don't love any of them yet.
Yeah,
so I've actually got a winch on my second gen that I'll move over to this one whenever I get one. So
I know. I have one on my Jeep,
thinking about moving or biting the bullet and just getting the CBI. And then, because I figure it's going to be at least a year or two before anything good's going to come out. So do I keep waiting or?
Because to me, that's like, I don't feel comfortable. I went from a Rubicon, I could go anywhere. Yeah. And it's like this, it's like, I'm not comfortable with it, it's like, I don't know what I can get away with. Yeah. And so having that winch, because a lot of times I'm by myself, so having that winch is like, it's key. It's a good piece of yeah, for sure. But I never used it on my Rubicon.
Yeah?
Never once used it.
Well, that's funny. On my old truck, I never use it, but I went with a lot of Jeep guys. But of course, the Jeep guys are also like, I'm going to go in there. And you're like, well, you want to? And they'd go in and then you'd winch them out. But we had one winter trip where I winched a buddy of mine with I think his just his is a Rubicon on 35s and the 3-inch lift, so not crazy. Yeah. And I think I winched him out of things like 5 different times. He also didn't air down very much, and it was
you got to air down. Yeah, for sure.
He knew better, but he just didn't. So I'm
still on the. So I bought mine used in February with 14,000 miles on it, so it still has the stock tires, everything on it. So
I mean, the AT2s aren't terrible. They're just not aggressive. I did an all dogs off-road RC killer kit.
Yeah, I just watched your video on that. Yeah.
Yep. And then these are those kind of Cleaver RTs and 33s, and they're great.
How's your gas mileage?
Cutting. It went down about 3 to 4.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, for the tires.
For 33s.
Yeah. So I mean, showing right now my dash, I think it's like 16.7, which we know that's probably high, but that's also when I'm at home, I'm just driving my kids to swim practice in my own way.
So yeah, I've already I'm at 32,000 miles already in like 3 months. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Driving a lot.
Yeah, I'm at like 17, I think now. So I bought mine new. Just because when I bought it a year ago, there were no used ones, or they were like a grand or two less, and I'm like, I'll just pay the money and get the new one.
Yeah. No, I actually searched for that color and found it in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Went over there and got it.
Yeah, when I went to the dealership, they were like, we have gray, and gray. And I was like, I'll take the gray one, I guess.
Gray's my color.
This one has the premium audio in it, so I was like, you know what, it's worth it. I don't want to mess with pulling speakers out and stuff. And it's not bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, stock on the engine.
Okay.
Little co-light fog lights. These are Freedom Outfitters makes these brackets for them. Then I put way too big of fog lights on them.
I saw that.
But so again, when I do the bumper, I'm gonna pull those out. I'm gonna put some like diode SS2s in there.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the bumper, so I'm just gonna put a bar across there rather than change those out. It's like this. There's other things. I think my next thing is I got a lot of weight, so it's like I gotta get something in the
your
back.
pain there.
Yeah. So, all right, what else you got?
So then I've got a Midland MXT 275 GMRS in the cab.
What does that do?
So it's basically just comms, right? It's just a radio.
So are you using like ham radio?
So it's like in between CB and ham.
Okay.
So GMRS is beautiful.
You have to get licensed for it or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, technically, yes, it costs $30. You don't have to do anything. You just have to go and fill out a form and pay the money.
Okay. Yeah.
And I am licensed just because why not? But like no one ever asks you, and as long as you're not being obnoxious or on a police channel, you're fine.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, he has one. All my buddies have them. So like compared to CB, it works more like the ham, and it's just better. Like we can get about a 2-mile range.
I went and got the ham license and all that, and then none of my friends wanted to do that.
Oh, geez.
I'm like, it works better, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
But
that's too much work for me.
Yeah.
The GMRS is just plug and play. Got 20 channels, and you just kind of flip between them.
Okay.
That works. So yeah, GMRS on there. Suspension we talked about.
What's a little gadget on your dash right there?
Yeah, so I've got the what are they called? Rome mounts. They're no drill. That's what I liked about them.
Okay.
They basically kind of the under that little tray at the top. There's 2 screws.
Yeah.
They clip back there, and then you put the stock screw back through it, so you didn't have to drill. So I've got one for my phone mount for if I want to record something mostly.
Yeah.
And the other one's a Garmin Overland.
I got there's a tray they make now.
Yep.
That you can put stuff just anywhere you want to. Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
I don't think I have the bullet point. I have rigid something.
Okay.
But love it. Yeah. It's really good. But,
so I wanted to not drill, and then now I'm probably going to have to drill holes to run all my wires down because I want to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, I actually did. I drilled a hole in the middle, and I run all the wires behind the dash.
Yeah, it's empty back in there. I'm kind of excited.
So it's easy to do. So
yeah. So then, aside from that, the open road rooftop tent, which I've loved. Yeah. I had the Nature Nest before for like the last year. Ran that through Wyoming, and it was great. But it's the wedge style with the wedge.
Yeah.
And so with this kick up like that
gives you a lot more room. Yeah.
More at the top end. But the same awning design, which is why I went with this one, because I love the side awnings. Like we were in Hoosier National Forest. We're from Indiana. Coming down Wednesday night, we stayed there, and then came the rest of the way here for Thursday check-in. And it poured down rain the whole night. I had my screens open all the way, everything vented, not a drop got in there. So
I haven't slept in mine in the rain yet, so I don't know what it'll do. Okay. I'm not crazy about the GFC. They put the bug screen on the inside, and then the windows on the outside with the gap on the bottom.
So
it's like it doesn't seal up, so it's like I assume I'm gonna get wet. That's just kind of
Yeah, I do like. I am jealous of the pass through. You have a pass through, right? You just go up through the bed if you want.
You can, but when you're sleeping with the wife up there, you can't move the. So I have the ladder. Yeah. So well, I had the ladder on the Ursa Minor too, and you could go through the floor, but then you got to move all your bedding to get through, and it's just not feasible really at all.
Yeah, I go solo so much that I'm just like, if I had a place where I could just be self-contained, go to the bathroom, do whatever I need to do, that'd be nice. But
my wife wants to go, so it's like she's all for it. So
that's good.
Yeah,
open road tent, 200 watts of solar on the roof, 200 amp hour house battery, radar controlling the dual battery setup. It's way overkill.
So show me that.
It's hard to see, but so the display, which I've loaded this thing up. So so the red vision is
distracted.
So like that's my display.
Okay.
Sorry,
How did you mount that on there?
So basically, I had a buddy that fabbed a little aluminum plate,
Okay.
and then I put a piece of Velcro on the bottom and a piece of Velcro down there.
Okay.
Just I didn't want to do anything permanent again to the truck, and just stuck it down there. And then that wire runs all the way through the center console here, up underneath it here, and then through the grommet in the back here. And then that Plano crate there is where my battery and all my Red Arc stuff is.
Okay.
So in my old truck, I had this Red Arc system mounted.
Yeah.
But we had it all behind the back seat and all this stuff, but we were putting grommets and drilling holes in the roof and doing all kinds of stuff. And on this truck, I was like, you know what? Let's make it removable, easily removable. So I can unplug that display, run it back through the grommet, take this whole thing out, and I can swap it to another truck tomorrow.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, and then the solar keeps that topped off. I also, because we have the plug in the back, I run shore power from this to the plug, and then if I want to charge it, I just kick on my inverter.
Okay.
And then that will help me top it off. But now since I put 200 watts of solar on the top,
don't worry about
it.
I have solar, but I also have the DC to DC charger. Nice. So between the two of them, I don't worry about it anymore.
When it was mounted in the old one, I was pulling power from the alternator and stuff. And I'm like, it's just so involved, and I got to buy a bunch of zero gauge wire and do it. So I was just like, I'm just going to let the solar do it, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Then extrusion bed rack. I love this bed rack.
I actually had that on order when I found the GFC, and then I canceled it before they started cutting, so that was good. So
yeah, they're getting ready to come out with a cap.
Okay.
And so I'm excited to see that.
I just couldn't get over leaving my stuff out.
Exactly.
Because in Nashville, where I live, it rains so much.
Nashville, Indiana? Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He lives in Nashville, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was asking. That's been my only concern. That's why I'm going to switch to the cap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my fridge is fine. They say it's weatherproof. I had an Iceco JP50 before this APL 55, and it sat in the bed for last year through Indiana winter and everything. I had no problems. It runs great.
Well, that's good. They're expensive to just leave out. That's my thing. I have the Dometic.
Well, and with with that roof over it, it really doesn't get much.
It's not directly on it. Yeah.
It's not aesthetically pleasing because it's dusty all the time.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm switching to cap. I like that GFC or like a cap style at least.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like I can't pack my truck before I leave because I don't want to take the chance somebody walks away with my chainsaw and an axe and hundreds or
I actually sewed a curtain to go on my back window to Velcro up there, so when I have stuff back there, you can't look in and see that there's stuff back there. But it locks too, so you know. But if you don't know it's in there, then it's even less desirable. So.
Yep. So.
Cool. Yeah.
I do have the tail cover.
I got that too. Love that.
Yeah,
Love
the
that.
foam is really nice. I like the foam.
Yeah, I wish it just stayed cleaner. That's my
I know.
thing,
Yeah, you can't keep it clean as possible.
But supposedly it's the same stuff they use on boats.
Yeah.
But I do like that. Yeah.
And I did the DIY drawer system because
that's good.
They're super. I mean, it works well. It's shocking how much room is in here. And they're friction slides because I didn't want to spend all the money on the actual slides. But it's ginormous. I need to organize it better, obviously. But
you can just go.
Like that's all kitchen stuff there. I've got lights.
I put all my kitchen stuff on the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just easier.
Oh, and then this stuff on top here is pretty cool. It's called T-mat. You can see I put screws down to hold it. So like this is custom. They make these for like the full bed width though. Okay. But then the cool thing about it is they have all these like plug and play things. So like if you have a lawnmower you need to throw in here, like when I throw my chainsaw in here, I'll put a few of those around it to hold it. And then you don't have to strap stuff. You can customize it up.
Yeah.
So I did kind of a custom installation.
Like you had your diesel heater right here, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
and then that slides out, which is nice. Get the strobes.
I built mine into my build out, so it's always in the truck.
Nice.
And so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I made that quick release for it. My plan was to make a second one for the AC.
Yeah.
But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, that thing's not going to be good bouncing around back here. And exposed to
if it breaks that easily, it wouldn't.
So
last.
I decided not to do that.
It wouldn't last a minute.
So we'll see. I got to decide what else to put there in the summer because in the winter I get the diesel heater, but in the summer I've got this mount. I'm like, I got to figure something, shower or something maybe.
Yeah, I have. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe you can come up and check out mine. But I have a water tank that would mount perfectly to that, and it's pressurized, so you
like
can
a
air
water
it.
Port?
No.
Black plastic.
It's black metal. It's aluminum. But
nice.
It's really sweet. But you can pressurize it, and it'll shoot for like 5 minutes on 4.5 gallons.
Nice.
And you could shower with it or whatever. But it's black, so it'll attract the heat. It'll warm up. I had the diesel heater in there running so hot one night. My dog was back there, and he was just like, can't breathe. And the water was 85 degrees in there.
Oh, jeez.
I was like a poor dog. So,
that's awesome.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Is that just a fire pit? Or is that a stove?
Yeah, there is another version of this where they do have a stove, but it's so small you can cook about 2 burgers on it. That's about it. I actually sold that to a guy. I brought some of my used gear down here just because I'm like,
try to get rid
I
of
got
some
stuff that I don't use.
I never thought about that.
This guy had the other one of these sitting out front, and he's like, how much? I was like, they're 300 new, 150. He's like, how about 120? I'm like, sold. Take it. I don't just take it.
I was at the Texas State Fair, and there was a guy that was making ammo can looking stoves like that.
Yeah.
And I got one of those, and
those are cool.
It's great, you know, because you can definitely feed a family if you just wait, you know, cook a little bit at a time. So
yeah, and they're so convenient. We had it set up over here Friday night, I think, and we just no firewood, no nothing, just took it up, and you're
So are these all your buddies that you
so I had another buddy here with a Gladiator, but then his dog ate a bunch of ant traps, and so his wife called him and said, I'm taking her to the vet, and he said, I gotta go. We're like, get out of here.
Yeah,
and
that's
then the guy with the Tacoma back here is Dave. He's gone on a bunch of trips with me, and his Tacoma's pretty nice too, so we've been on a few things together, but they're from Indiana too.
I could not pull the plug on a Tacoma. I was just like, you know, the new ones I wouldn't buy, and then a used one because of the engines, the transmission, and the seating. I was just like, the Nissan beats it all the way around.
Yeah.
You know, so
well,
and it's a lot cheaper
because he goes with me all the time, right? So he's got the 6-speed and the 3.5 liter.
Yeah.
And he's like struggling going up hills and stuff. And like I think if when that one gets older, he may look at one of these trucks.
Because I have not wanted power at all. It just goes. Yeah. You know. So
and I mean,
been happy with it.
Since it's a truck too. Like I have very low expectations. Like it's not like I'm hot dogging it around or anything, but it gets up and moves when you need it to. And it's comfy. I mean, again, compared to my second gen, that was just like everything's hard plastic, and you have no options and no tech whatsoever. And in this thing with those nice seats, the seats are
nice, and I do like the camera setup, so you can see around and make sure you're in the center of the parking lot. So
driving from Indiana to Wyoming was a 20-hour trip, and the guy leading it was in a Subaru. He's like, I get my best gas mileage at 65, and I'm like, that's slow, but whatever. And I put on adaptive cruise, and it just followed him along.
So my buddy's looking. He's looking at Toyotas, but he wants to find one that's somebody already built out that's wanting to sell it. So that way he doesn't have to.
I think there's a bunch of those. I've seen quite a few in like Facebook Marketplace and stuff. Already built. The problem is they want the money. You know, like there's some of these that are like his. He'd probably sell that for 60. And I'm like, I mean, I know you probably have 80 in it, but still, like that's a lot of money for a.
So what's the Smart Cap? Is that
just a hard? So it'll be real similar to the extrusion one.
Okay, so it's the
Smart
cap.
Is a different brand.
And
RSI makes them.
He has a tent on top of that.
Yep, and so then he has an FSR tent on top, and then their awning mounts to the tent, which this is my favorite part of his build, is this awning. I mean, it's totally freestanding. It's got some flex to it, but...
What brand is that?
FSR.
FSR, okay.
So it's just, he bought the matching awning basically for the tent.
Okay, yeah. My awning's like this too.
Yeah, just totally freestanding, and that's mine is too, kind of, but it kind of tends to sag a little bit. Yeah. It's an OVS. But the OVS also costs $500, and this is $1,500. So.
I bought, what is mine? I forgot. I just got it a couple weeks ago. I was in Long Island, and the guy his business is there, so I called him up, and he's like, yeah. He gave me the address. I went over there, and it was his house. He's just like a little business out of his house, you know. That's cool. Do you ever watch Soft Roading the West?
Yeah.
It's the same awning, Donald, the one that he just got.
Okay.
And the guy gave him one. I was like, but it's good. It'll freestand real easily. So.
Yeah. I do love that, and this is a 270 too, so it'd be 270 like this and totally freestanding. It's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I just wish they had lights here.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing I wish.
But, he does. He solved it with these magnetic motion sensor lights. You just got to keep them charged and think about them and everything else. So.
I put some Baja Design little pucks that have a button.
Yeah.
And they light up pretty good, but that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know about the drawers. It takes up so much space. I
know. That's when I get my cap, I'm debating, but I'll probably pull the drawers out. I don't know. I'm contemplating building my own drawer or bed slide.
Okay.
And then doing like Plano crates, like here's kitchen, here's summer, here's winter, whatever. And then being able to access what I need, put the stuff I need most frequently in the back, so I don't have to pull it out. But then if I need it, I could slide the bed thing out.
Sure. Yeah.
I could still get in there, climb up if I needed to. That's the extrusion guys are going to make one with a pass through, so like a GFC basically. But the one that I'm getting is not that. It's just the cap because I have a rooftop tent
because you can't pass through it, unless you cut a hole in the bottom of it.
I don't want to do that. I have some friends that did that, and they're very brave, but not me.
Yeah. So
destroy any resale value.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.